The other day, I celebrated my 1-year streamiversary on Twitch. I decided it would be a perfect opportunity to do a little tier list, ranking all the games that I've completed on stream. So that means no Half-Life, no Final Fantasy Adventure, and a couple others that I can't remember. In total, I've got 27 games that I completed here. Some took just a few hours, while others took 100+ hours. From a variety of genres, though there's definitely a pattern that may emerge. So the criteria I'm going to use here are pretty loose. I guess the way I would put it is, what did I have the most fun streaming? What was the most fun for me overall? Again, if you're enjoying the material, please like, subscribe, and comment. Every little bit helps. Let's begin. So, before I get into this, you may be wondering why I'm not using Tier List Maker. I'm gonna tell you why. In order to create your own tier list on Tier List Maker, you are required to join Twitter. And I'm not gonna do that. I would much rather just make my own. And I'll be honest with you, I think it looks better. Let's begin. So, we're gonna go in order. These are all the games. We're gonna go in order of approximately the order I played them in or streamed them in. All of these games I completed on stream. We got S+, S, A, B, C, D. I don't want to give any of these games an F simply because, I don't know, I don't think any of them are a failure. I just might not enjoy them so much at the D level. They're all complete pieces that I'm sure some people love, and they all have their own merits. Just some of them were much less fun for me than others. Let's begin with Dragon Quest. This is the Game Boy Color version. This is the first ever game I streamed. Classic JRPG. Not the first time I'd played it, but the first time I'd played it to completion. The Game Boy Color version is awesome. It's such a clean, crisp, stripped back JRPG or RPG experience. One character. You see your end goal from the beginning of the world map, which is to get across to the castle of, I can't remember the name of the guy. It's a very simple plot. There's maybe 5 or 6 towns. It's perfect. It's simple, and I think a lot of people these days won't love it, newer gamers. But it is the most stripped back RPG experience possible. I have very fond memories of this. I was thinking about S tier for a minute because of how fun it was. You know what? I'm going to put this at S tier. This is great. I would recommend this to anyone. I just contradicted myself saying some people won't like it, but I still would recommend it. I had a great time. S tier. Classic. Game Boy Color version is really a good port as well. Castlevania. Circle of the Moon. I was playing this at around the same time. This is a Game Boy Advance game. More along the Symphony of the Night style than the traditional Castlevanias. This is a good game. Presented well, looks good on the Game Boy Advance. There were 2 sequels that came out after it. This is one of 2 that I've played to completion, the only one of the 3 I've streamed. The last boss sucks. I had a good time with this, probably not the same as Dragon Quest. This one frustrated me a little bit, though I do really enjoy the Castlevania games. I think I'm going to put this at A tier. Yeah, we're going to put this at A tier for now. I may shuffle these around a bit as I add to the list. We'll see how it goes. Kirby's Dreamland. Game Boy. Simple game. Cute game. Charming game. It's popcorn. It's candy for the Game Boy. It's perfectly suited to the original Game Boy. As a stream experience, it was kind of an afterthought for me. This first one is not as good as the sequel. And as a stream experience, it was fine, but not memorable. I'm gonna put it at B. You can see when I started streaming, it was all handhelds. This was because I didn't even have a proper PC at the time. I was streaming from my laptop on a monitor using emulators. Of games I own. And so I also played in this early era, this pre-affiliate era, the golden days, the good old days, Super Mario Land, the Game Boy. This game's awesome. I have more nostalgia for this than Kirby's Dreamland. It's a less pretty game, but I think it's a more fun game. I don't know if I can put this at A tier. When I streamed it, I'd probably already beat this game, 4 or 5 times. It was one of the first games I ever had as a kid. I'm going to put it ahead of Kirby's Dreamland in B tier. Simply because of what's coming up next. This is still a great game on Game Boy. Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins. This game is awesome. It's like Game Boy's answer to Super Mario World. Not as big, but very big for a Game Boy game. I think there's 6 worlds, right? 1 for each coin. Weird. Really weird. There's a Mario Land where you go, the world is inside like a wooden toy Mario, and there's all these cogs, and you go and fight a boss in his brain. It's kind of trippy. You've got power-ups like the rabbit ears that float. It's a really fun game. The final stage is Wario, the introduction to the character of Wario, I believe, as the villain of this game. And the game's quite easy. That level is not easy. This game's great. I'm going to put this in A tier. I had a good time with this. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. A Game Boy Advance RPG in the vein of Super Mario RPG. Featuring Luigi, of course, and it has a lot of brothers mechanics, timing-based, turn-based combat. Very charming game. Good sense of humor. Still pretty. Some of these Game Boy Advance games still look good, in my opinion. Very bright, very cheerful. Cackletta was a cool boss, a cool villain. The inclusion of Bowser is not so much a boss as an antagonist or like an anti-hero in it is really cool. There was a bit of frustration towards the end. There's a big difficulty spike. I remember raging on stream. Well, I think it lands in between 6 golden coins and Super Mario Land. Is that A or B? I'm going to put it at A for now, subject to change. Looking at this now, I actually think I preferred both of these games. I preferred streaming these both to Castlevania Circle of the Moon. So I'm going to move it back like this. Alone in the Dark, The New Nightmare. Okay, this is a weird one. This is a Game Boy Color port of the survival horror reboot of the Alone in the Dark franchise. As a curiosity, as a weird moment in gaming history that attempted 3 dimensions in the Game Boy Color, this is very impressive. Crazy, bizarre port. As a game, not so good. I had a good time exploring this game. I can't say it was great though, and it got very frustrating towards the end, and it really petered out. There was sort of diminishing returns. That said, this is a fascinating part of gaming history, and quite an achievement. Kind of weird that they even tried to do it. Makes me wonder what the Resident Evil port would have been like if completed. I'm gonna land this at C though. This is the Game Boy Mega Man, Dr. Wily's Revenge, the original. And this game is cool. This is from my childhood, a beloved one. It was my introduction to the series. I think it still looks very good. I would say it looks as good as Super Mario Land 2 on the Game Boy. Big sprites. The platforming's good. Platforming's solid. It's got all the difficulty you want from a Mega Man game. It's not exactly the same as the NES original. In fact, I believe the Wily Castle has bosses from Mega Man 2 even. They kind of remixed it for these games. I would say I put it above Mario Land and Kirby's Dreamland in the B tier as a stream experience. But honestly, this would be different if it's just like to play off stream. This is kind of me remembering how much fun I had while streaming it. I should point that out. We're going to put it here at the top of B tier. Resident Evil 0. This was the first Switch game I played. I got my HD capture card. I was very excited. Had my new PC going. Resi 0. I'd never played this game before. I'm a big Resident Evil fan, but I had not played the prequel. It was a little different with the item management. There weren't any boxes, so you just drop stuff around, which felt a bit weird. I remember this game getting quite difficult at points as well. There was a point with a bat that was just wrecking shop on me. I had no health items, I think. Ultimately, it was a very good game though, and I had a really great time with it. I was experimenting with lighting. It's still very early days on the channel. I think I had some like moody, dark red lighting for the horror theme. This is fun. This is a fun game. I remember Billy Cohen being a big meme for me. Oh, you're with stars. This is really fun. I'm actually going to put this up at the head of A tier. I'm going to move these down. Metroid. 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 I think maybe this, if we're talking about how much people enjoyed watching me play, it might be higher than how much I enjoyed playing. This game was, looking at all the others, this was probably the highest salt I'd had to date. This game's ridiculously hard, and I might have had to use some cheesy save state business to beat it. For the enjoyment that others may have gotten from this alone, I'm going to put this up at the tail end of A tier. Oh, can I do that though? Yeah. Okay. There's a lot in A tier right now. No. No, I can't. I'm going to put it at the head of B tier. The head of Mega Man. Morrowind. I could do one of those memes where I pretend to put it down here and go, just tricking, it's up here, but I'll just spare you the nonsense. It's S+. This is one of my favorite streaming and gaming experiences of all time. I will say though, I'm not sold on either of the expansions. The base game is where it's at for me. The base game of Morrowind is fantastic. I played vanilla, played probably about 150 hours, expertly written, janky as all hell, true RPG experience, very original, very unique. Deals with some kind of heavy topics with a deft touch. A bizarre, weird, wonderful game. I made a lot of friends playing this, and it made me very happy to be able to share my first playthrough with people who are more veterans of the series. Yeah, this is S+ tier. This is one of my favorites. Great game. Castlevania. Original Castlevania. Well, speaking of salt, Metroid and Castlevania are similar salt tiers. I think Metroid made me saltier though. I think Metroid's harder. But I think Castlevania is a better game. I would say I enjoyed it more than Circle of the Moon even. even though I like this style of Castlevania game, I think just because this came later in the stream, I kind of enjoyed I enjoyed streaming more as I went on. As more people came in, I got to interact and kind of feel less alone while I was doing it. This was really fun. I would put it above Castlevania, Circle of the Moon. I would put it above Superstar Saga and Mario Land. I'd probably put it in between Mario Land 2 and Resi Zero. Another A tier. I love you, Colonel Sanders. This was a weird, I think it was a bonus stream redemption or maybe a follower celebration. This is goofy as fuck. Stupid game. Stupid game. Dumb game. Had a really good start and then it fizzled. I thought. I thought this started... If I were to base it off the first 2 hours or the first hour, I'd probably put it like here. But then it kind of, I don't know, it meandered and kind of didn't know where it wanted to go. And the jokes got a bit tired. I had a great time with chat though. I think minus chat, I'd put it down here. I think if I had to play I Love You, Colonel Sanders again or Metroid again, probably play I Love You, Colonel Sanders over it. So I'm going to put it here. Mass Effect. This is starting to move into a more modern era of the channel. And a little more recent. Though still a while ago. It's probably about 6 months ago. Mass Effect had a lot of promise. And there was a lot to like about it. I enjoyed the kind of moral questions you get caught in with Shepard. I enjoyed the romancing. Though I was a little sad you couldn't romance Tali. I'm not going to lie. I probably would have gone for Tali. The combat was all right. The game loop, once I figured out what it was, I sort of lost that motivation to explore planets. It felt a little sparse and barren, and I get that that's kind of how it would feel, but it almost felt like sparse or barren in a gameplay sense. The story was really interesting, actually. The characters were well written. I enjoyed the dialogue. Pretty good looking game. I would say this probably comes in somewhere at the top of A tier for me. I don't think I can put it in S or S+. I still think I was more invested in Resident Evil 0. To be honest. I'm going to put it between Resi 0 and Castlevania. Limbo. This game really took me by surprise. I loved the atmosphere. It was evocative. It was creepy, but it was cute. The puzzles were challenging, with the exception of 1 or 2 that really got me stumped. Those who are with me probably remember. I was able to figure them out. You can do it in one long sitting. Took me about 6 hours. A real gamer could probably do it in 4. Beautiful game. And the story as well is all visually told. No dialogue, I don't think. I don't think so. That spider. Ugh. And the way it ends is this sort of cyclical point that left me thinking for quite a while as to what was going on. This was a really fun experience. I think I have to put this at S tier. This is an S tier stream experience. Now, would I sooner go back to this or Mass Effect? I'd probably sooner go back to Mass Effect because I think we explored most of what this has to give. But if I'm talking about how much fun I had streaming it overall, I have to put it at S tier above these. To the moon. I guess after Limbo and its sequel, which I'll get to later, I guess I decided that I was into indies and I wanted to play more indies. This one came recommended. I didn't like it. don't know why it's a game. I think it should be... The story's fine. The story's interesting. It's, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, kind of. I found it dull. I found the dialogue a bit ho-hum, if I'm honest. It felt too long, even at the short game time it had. I didn't enjoy this. This is D tier for me. This is D tier. It's a better game than the Alone in the Dark port, but I had more fun with the Alone in the Dark port. This was not a good time for me. Fallout 3. Fallout 3 is awesome. This game I often think of in comparison to Mass Effect, because they're sort of sci-fi-esque RPGs of a similar era. I think Mass Effect might have had a better main story, but I think everything else in Fallout 3 was better. I had more fun with it. I think the open-endedness of it, the open world nature of it, was more up my alley. I know that's a little bit unfair because technically Mass Effect does have an open universe that you can fly to, and there's lots of lore there, and that was really fun. I just had such fun kind of role-playing the character, the dandy boy we created, exploring the wasteland, just looting. It's a Bethesda game. In many ways it played similar to Morrowind. It's obviously newer and looks a bit better. There were a couple of great segments as well. The only knock against this game I have is that it ends rather abruptly. The DLC, I've never really gotten into Bethesda DLCs that I've tried on stream. Didn't really like that, and the metro stations were a pain in the ass. Otherwise, combat's great fun, love the VAT system. The leveling is fantastic. It's got a great sense of humor. It's a great one to stream as well because you can just shoot the shit with chat and kind of go wherever you want. This is S tier for me. And I'm probably going to put it above Limbo. I'm going to put it above Limbo here. Make it a little smaller too. Inside. The spiritual sequel, successor to Limbo, I guess? Not the same story, but it's by Playdead Studios. When I played Limbo, as I loved it so much, I became curious in this game and decided I needed to play it. Some people while I was playing Limbo told me they preferred it, that it was even better. It plays very similar. You're a boy in a darkly, or in a kind of scary, creepy, I don't want to say post-apocalyptic, but this alternate universe, this reality where people are under some kind of mind control and are sold as, I guess, slaves to consumers who are, I guess, in another class. There's weird experimentation. I remember that part at the end with the ball of limbs rolling about. Some great set pieces in it. Great sequences in it. Some good challenge. Overall, I felt that Limbo was the better game though. I had a good time with this, but Limbo kind of prepared me for it, and perhaps because I played it second, it didn't have the same impact on me. Though it still left me with a lot to think about afterwards. I think I even watched like a YouTube video to try and figure out what the hell it was all about. I think it was very, very fun still. I'm going to put it in the A tier. I think after Mass Effect. I'm going to put it between Mass Effect and Castlevania. Super Mario Brothers, the original. I played this on at a stream where I wasn't sure what to do. I think I was between games, and I decided to just hit up Super Mario All-Stars on my Switch. We all know this game. I don't really need to say a lot about it. So as a stream experience though, it was chill. It's a game you can finish and engage with chat. It's classic. The music's there, the vibes are there, the challenges, there towards the end. A couple of the stages in the last world are really challenging. I had a good time, but it wasn't a revolutionary, fantastic time. Even the Rage, I still think I put it under Metroid. I know this seems crazy. Like people are probably going to think like, how the fuck are you putting Super Mario Bros. In B tier? This is about how fun it was for me to stream. It's not about how good or important. I understand this is like maybe the most important game in the games industry of all time. Or, you know, in the discussion, it's like on the Mount Rushmore. I think I'm going to put it here. Outlast. This is the scariest game I streamed in my first 12 months. Easy. There's a real palpable dread in the early parts of this game. I remember feeling just on edge in the asylum. It sets it up, sets the scene fantastically as you approach it. Again, it fizzles. It gets a bit towards the end. Once you enter the lab region, which incidentally feels like kind of stolen from the Resident Evil series, but that's okay. Once you hit that lab region, it kind of lost me a little bit. And once the gameplay loop of hiding, sneaking, once I got used to it and it felt more like a game, the game itself is not that fun. The atmosphere is great. It's very scary. I don't know where to put this. I'm unsure where to put this one. I think the highs were quite high though. Like there was a real intensity to it at times that I have to acknowledge. And it was very scary the first stream or so. I'm gonna put it in A tier. Between Super Mario Land and Castlevania. So, Abzu is... I've had an interesting experience with indies on this channel, on my Twitch stream for the last year. Abzu was good though. I liked Abzu. I played this on a birthday stream and it's visual storytelling done very well. There were moments in that I actually got chills. There were some things as you're swimming through this mysterious underwater environment and kind of bringing life back to the ocean. It felt like there was a theme to it, but it wasn't forcing it down your throat. It was just there. I'm going to put this as an experience, high B tier, I would say. It's the game. There's not that much to the game. I wouldn't say it's a fantastic gameplay experience, but it is an experience and one that I thoroughly enjoyed. Though I wouldn't be in a huge rush to go back. Put it here. On one hand, it feels like I streamed a lot of games. On the other hand, it feels like I didn't stream that many. Is this a lot for a year for a streamer to complete? Let me know. Demon Souls. Demon Souls. I love FromSoft games. I started with Dark Souls. This is the reason I got a PS3 for the channel. I wanted to play this. Funny story though, I didn't realize that as I'd gotten and got it set up, that I was also coinciding with the release of the PS5 Demon Souls. And so I think I lost a lot of potential viewership, which frustrated me, if I'm honest. That said, I really got into this game. Created the character Sephi Poutine, combination of Sephiroth and Vladimir Putin. Let's not talk about Flame Lurker. Let's not talk about Flame Lurker. That didn't happen, right? Let's not talk about it. The highs, look, it's a FromSoft game, so the highs are very high and the lows are very low. It's not as good as Dark Souls. It's not as good as Dark Souls. Some of the bosses are really cool. I particularly enjoyed some of the, not even the hard ones, but just the visually impressive ones or the thematically impressive ones, like the giant manta ray, whatever it's called, the storm ray, where you get that special weapon and blast it. Really dramatic boss. I really like the end boss too. Music's great when there is music. Very fun game. I'm going to put this in S tier. I had a great time with it. Not S plus though. I would put it between Fallout 3 and Limbo. As I'm looking here, I have to say, I think Fallout 3 overall was a better experience than Dragon Quest, simply because of the amount of people I was chatting with in chat at that point. Just, you know, you learn that, well, I've learned that Twitch is as much about the interaction with chat as the game. Obviously, you want the game to be fun. But this was exciting and fun for a very different reason. So I'm going to put Fallout 3 here. Resident Evil Director's Cut. Got this on PS1. Love this game. Love this game. Had a lot of fun with it. Played it before, obviously. Those old cutscenes are fantastic. What is this? Barry Burton, Albert Wesker, shout outs. Stay alert. Very quotable game. Very oft quoted game. I fucked up at the end of this one and I got a bad ending and I didn't go back to it because I had other stuff I wanted to do. But this is kind of like comfort food that also still can be surprising because I don't remember it all perfectly. In terms of survival horror experiences, I think I still have more fun with it than Outlast though. I think it's going A tier, but I think maybe down the middle of A tier. Might move Castlevania Circle of the Moon down. It's probably an A-ish tier game, but I'm moving it there. Resident Evil Director's Cut, I'm going to put smack bang between Castlevania and Inside. Looking at this now from an experience standpoint, I think I'm going to move Kirby's Dreamland down as well. I know it probably seems like I'm just doing it because I've run out of space, but I can make them smaller. I'm just revising it a little bit. It really wasn't the most fulfilling experience as a stream. Not memorable at all. Let's see. Gris. Gris. Another indie experiment. The internet likes it. If I'm honest, I think Gris was a little bit pretentious as a game. I think it's one of those games that claims to be about this big important thing, dealing with grief, but really it's just kind of a lazy platformer. I get it, the metaphor, you're bringing color back to your life. You know, bravo. Things in Gris's favor. Things in Gris's favor. It's pretty. Pretty. That's about it. The platforming and puzzling is simple and repetitive. The game goes too long. The payoff is not really there. It's a better game than To the Moon. I can't put it below To the Moon. It's probably a better streaming experience than these as well because it was a new thing. I'm going to put it at the top of C tier. I think it's not so much that I think it's a bad game, it's just it irked me, it rubbed me the wrong way. I can imagine how intelligent the creators think it is, and I don't know. I don't agree. I think Abzu achieved evocative, emotive, visual storytelling with half the pretension and twice the effectiveness than Gris. Different story, I know. And Gris's gameplay might be a little better than Abzu. I just think Abzu's a better game. Dark Souls. I love Dark Souls. Dark Souls is going to go S+. The question here is, does it go above or below Morrowind? Dark Souls, when I streamed it, it was not my first playthrough. It was my second playthrough, or maybe my third. I've done 2 playthroughs of it. I've been trying to do sub-X death runs. Not very good, but this is a game I want to replay. They're both such great games in their own right. And they're both such fun games to stream in their own right. You know, the tiebreaker between these two is what do I still want to play? What still seems fun to me? And that's Dark Souls. I'm actually going to put Dark Souls above Morrowind here. This is one of my favorite games of all time. Yep, and there's lots of salts. That's the thing, it's brought me to despairing lows and will probably continue to do so, but I feel passionate about this. Whereas I feel like the only thing that Morrowind still has to give me is more lore, which is awesome. But there's more to learn about. Well, no, there's more. There's different gameplay styles in this as well. I shouldn't discount that. But I'm more likely to want to replay this in the next month than this. Give me 5 years and I want to play this again. Both S+, but I'm going to put Dark Souls slightly ahead of it. GeoGuessr was kind of a revelation for my channel. Fun story. It actually was an accident that I started streaming it. I had a technical difficulty with a stream I was trying to do on the Switch with a game called The Friends of Ringo Ishikawa, which I never got back to because it just tilted me that the stream kind of died. And I remember trying to salvage it because I'd heard of this game called GeoGuessr. I'm like, well, fuck it. Let's just try and do a little GeoGuessr. Turned out to be one of the most played games on my channel. I love it. We do Chat Guesser. We play it every weekend. Playing it tomorrow. Still excited for it. Lots of replayability. Very, very fun. Perfect stream game. Perfect stream game. I'm still not like great at it, even though I've got my own stupid metas. Lot of replayability, almost infinite. It's gonna be S+ tier, guys. This is one of the big three, I think, for my channel and for just me personally in terms of what I've streamed. How do I measure it up against these two? Here's the thing. I want to play this right now more than I want to play Morrowind. But I feel like I can't... I feel like these two as games are more these are fully fledged developed games. Whereas this is more of an application used for gaming. I just feel it's a little rude for me to put it above Morrowind and Dark Souls. That said, it's been an S+ tier experience to stream. And I will continue to enjoy it. I'm going to put it here. What can I learn from this? The top three are probably no surprise. The only challenge there is trying to pick what order they come in. Those games are all fantastic and I highly recommend it for streamers, non-streamers, anyone interested in checking them out. And they're both very deep games with a lot of replayability. Though like GeoGuessrs is more because the world is deep, not because the game is deep, if you know what I mean. The game's quite simple. I'm noticing that of the S and S+, 5 of the 7 are RPGs. So there you have it. All of the survival horrors fall in A tier. I do like survival horror. A lot of the Game Boy games fell kind of lowish. And I'm not sure if that's because it was just the early days where I was still learning the ropes of streaming. I'm not sure. Platformers, all kind of lowish. This was the highest platformer. But I do like platform games. Also, currently, there's a couple of games that I'm playing that I haven't finished. So I'm playing New Vegas for the first time and Final Fantasy 13 for the first time. Both of these games, the way it's looking, would be at least A tier. I think they might be at least S tier though, if I'm honest. I'm really enjoying both of those games. It's going to be a big question what I prefer out of New Vegas and Fallout 3 ultimately. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this little list. It was just a nice way to look back on the year that was. How many of these have you played? Is this obvious? Am I wrong? What, tell me everything. If you're enjoying the stuff the content, like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.